So tomorrow is the fall equinox for 2020, and nature's really showing her colors today. I realize I'm in the middle of this dense little brushy forest, but if you could see the sky, oh my gosh, this place is beautiful. I am up in the southeast corner. It's about as far as I can go. The river's right behind me, of the property, which is a large property. It's about 1,300 acres, where contact first started with these beings last month. And I've hiked all around this morning for a couple hours. Seen some really interesting things. I'm going to try to post a couple of them within this video so that you can see what I'm seeing. And one of the more interesting things that happened is that I haven't been to both of my gifting spots this morning. I've only went to the first one. And at that one, I left an ear of corn in one location and then 2 crystals in separate locations. And right at the foot of where all that gifting is, right where I found the footprints last week, excuse me, there was a very large, very solid piece of wood placed in the sand. And wasn't there when I was here a couple of days ago. So it was so strange, because just the first thought, it was like it was placed in my head, was this is a wood knocking stick. So I picked it up and brushed the dirt off of it. This thing is really, really solid, and gave it a swing. And sure enough, it is solid as a rock, and as soon as you hit a tree with it, it is loud. So I'm like, okay, so I took a stick and wrote in the sand, thank you. Now, you know, there's a million possibilities as to why that stick showed up there. Plains. No matter how far you hike into the woods, you can't get away from it. Sure, there's a gazillion possibilities. I mean, somebody could have been carrying it for a piece of firewood or something, but this thing is long. It's like somebody quartered up a fence post or something. I'll try to post a picture of it. And it's heavy. It's not something you would carry for a walking stick. It's only about that long. So there's other people in these woods, and so there's a possibility. You know, it could have been anything. However, it was just really odd that it was right there in the middle of my gifting area, one of them, and that it was placed so conspicuously. I mean, I park in the same place every time when I come in, and it was literally laying perfectly centered right in the middle of the sand, where 10 feet away from where I normally park. I mean, it was like it was placed there. It couldn't have been any more apparent if there had been a red flag on it. So I thought that was really cool. And like I said, then I did take some pictures of some really interesting other stuff over in that area. So one of the things that's been on my mind a lot lately is people tend to want to compartmentalize unexplained events, things that they don't understand. So, you know, if they see lights in the sky or something that has mass, it looks like a, you know, some sort of ship that we didn't make. You know, they want to call that a UFO or aerial phenomenon or whatever the new age term is for it. And, you know, if they see lights bouncing around on the ground, they call them various things. Spook lights, foxfire. Up here in my neck of the woods, up through the Blue Ridge portion of the Appalachians, we, you know, my family, which I'm one generation removed from the true mountain people up here. I mean, these people didn't come out of the mountains for nothing. And they'd probably still be there if the Blue Ridge Parkway hadn't come in and run them out. The government relocated them. So, you know, I grew up with this stuff. And up here we call it foxfire. And it's this bioluminescent balls of light, or elongated lights, or orbs, or whatever you want to call them. They seem to have some sort of intelligence. You know, so those are called orbs, or foxfire, or spook lights, or whatever you want to call them, you know. And then when you get to where you see a figure, you know, on the ground that you can't explain. It might be partially materialized, or it might just be a shimmer. It might be solidified. Those are given various different names. Sometimes they're called aliens, a word which I really dislike. I prefer extraterrestrials or interdimensional, but everything is compartmentalized. And what I have learned over the last few years is that if you really want to understand what's going on, you have to get rid of those labels and those compartments. You have to understand this is all related, every last bit of it. And granted, yeah, but I'm not talking about that there is only one species of being out there. I don't think that's true. What I'm saying is that that entire group of unexplained phenomenon, UFOs, ETs, interdimensional stuff, bending of space-time, abilities to do stuff with energy that we don't quite understand, zero-point energy, traveling faster than the speed of light, at the speed of thought, materializing and dematerializing. All of it's related. It's not all separate. So the first thing you got to do is break down all that stuff. Get rid of that. Because one of the things that I have experienced personally, and I have been paying attention, there are so many other people that are relating the same thing, is that there seems to be a common thread of events that surround these interactions with the beings that are commonly called Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And one of those is the lights, and other ones are materializations and dematerializations, or what they're calling cloaking. Many, many years ago, in another part of the state, at my home, a friend and I actually watched out the back door as something walked through the woods there, came right up to almost right up to the door. And so you could step out on the back porch and literally take 5 steps and you were in the wood line. And so we were actually working in my studio, making stuff, and we happened to be standing there by the back door, and we both saw it. It was this shimmer that went across the ground. And it was tall. It wasn't like a little dust devil or something that was going along the ground. This thing was tall. It was, and it was basically human shaped. And the first thing that both of us thought was it looked exactly like the predator in the movie Predator when it's cloaked. And so that was many years ago, and I had compartmentalized that. However, here we go with the mosquitoes again. Bitch. However, we're seeing those things. It's a common thread. So I'm beginning to understand that some of the events and experiences that I've had all my life may have been interactions with these beings, and I didn't even realize it because they did not appear as what we commonly think of as a Sasquatch appearance. They didn't automatically appear as a large hairy giant screaming and throwing things and knocking on woods and tearing up trees. However, I think they were the same thing. Great. Now there's bugs coming up the back. So I think that's one of the first things that we have to do if we really, really want to understand what's going on. You gotta get rid of the compartments, and you gotta get rid of the labels, and you have to stop saying this is this and there's a line drawn in the sand because this is this and it's separate from this, because I don't think it is. Open your mind, think about it, open your eyes, watch what's going on, do your own research. One of the things that drives me crazy are the people that sit in their living rooms or at their computers and they devour all of the crap that's out there on the internet and on the news. God help us all, the news. I hate the news. And then they form their thoughts and their convictions and their beliefs based on what other people are telling them. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to step back and look at what's going on around us to know that the majority of the stuff that's coming out of government-issued information, whether it be local, state, federal, whatever, groups, the ones that are out there like trying to really either monetize it or make a name for themselves, and it's all dramatic and shit like that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that they are regurgitating the exact same information over and over and over again. And people are forming opinions based on this dumb shit. You know? Don't do that. If your thoughts, your convictions, and your beliefs are not your own, whose are they? Ask yourself that question. And that's going to piss a lot of people off, because they're going to say, well, you know, this is what I believe, and I know this to be true. Well, how do you know it to be true? Do you know it to be true because you're defending a group that you're involved in, and that's what they all believe? No, thank you. I got no use for that. Lambs to the slaughter. Open your eyes, open your mind, get up off your ass, get out there and figure it out for yourself. The other interesting thing is, if you really want to understand the truth about what's going on, and you want to get to some of that information through those media means like the internet and things like that, you've got government scientific group who just really, as far as I'm concerned, not all just be then you've got the group that the Bigfoot hunters, you know, the ones that run around in the woods, and it's always so dramatic, and they're always shouting and carrying on in every episode, the title, you know, did we finally find it? And you sit there with, you know, breathing through your mouth, dumbfounded, watching the whole thing, and you get to the end and it's the same shit. They haven't found anything yet. It's all speculation. You know, if there's another group though, and they're small. They're very, very small, and they're a little difficult to locate because they're not really a group. They are like-minded individuals that are willing to put their asses on the line, no matter what the cost, in order to get at the truth and in order to share the truth. And these are people that have everything to lose and basically nothing to gain by doing this. And that's where you want to look. You want to look at the people that are being ridiculed for DNA studies. Go look that one up. Keep digging until you find it. You will find it. And then when you do find it, don't be a sheep. Don't read all the negative crap, all of the stuff that everybody's saying about how it's not true, blah, 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 blah. Read the study itself. Read the information from the people that did the study. Then make up your own mind. Those are the people you need to look for. That's the kind of people you need to look for if you want to get to the truth of this. You know, I might, at the end of my videos, you know, I'm like, you know, if you liked it, subscribe to it. If you want to keep up with what's going on, subscribe to it. Yeah, I could use some subscribers. I don't have many. But that's as far as I will go, as far as like asking for anything from any of you. I'm never gonna monetize this and put it out there. Oh, I'm going on a Sasquatch hunt Friday night, and if you want to go with me live, pay $25. You know, right now, bullshit. This is about getting the information out there to the people that deserve it. And there is a lot of controversy about this. You know, there's the people that are terrified, and there's the people that wanna take them down. You know, and there's the people that think they're just big teddy bears, and then there's some of us that think it's something kind of in between. These are people. They are a people. Make no mistake. These are not big, dumb animals. I've never thought they were big, dumb animals. I've not always pretended to understand what they were exactly. I have a much better understanding of what they are now. But they're not animals. These are not big, dumb animals. These are a culture of people. And they're not like us, of course. And in fact, I think they pretty much outclass us in every department. And just like any group of people, I suspect that there are ones that are very nurturing and have very benevolent intentions and would like to help humanity. And then there are probably some that are assholes. You know, there are probably the hoodlums of the Bigfoot kingdom. I don't doubt that. And how do you know which one you're dealing with? You don't. But, you know, you can't walk around afraid that you're going to run into the wrong one. You got to take the good with the bad. If you're going to get anywhere with this, you have to get up and get out there and try to get your own answers and share. For God's sake, don't keep it to yourself. Share the information you have. Do not be afraid of being laughed at. Do not be afraid of being mocked. The people that are doing the laughing and the mocking, their heads are up their asses so far it ain't even funny. They don't know. All they're doing is listening to Fox News and all that other dribble that comes off the televisions and out of the computers, and they're basing, again, their thoughts, their convictions, and their beliefs on someone else. They have none of their own. Get your own. It's the only way to be. So that's my rant for today. In a nutshell, break down the boxes, throw out the labels, stop compartmentalizing stuff. This is all related. If you want to understand what's going on, get rid of all that crap, open your mind up. Number 2, ask yourself, who do my thoughts, convictions, and beliefs really belong to? Are they mine or are they somebody else's? And if you get offended over that question, the answer is pretty easy then. They belong to somebody else. You would not be offended and want to defend them if they were not. And then 3rd, look along the fringes if you want to find truth. Stay away from the news. Stay away from the people that are monetizing this. Stay away from the dramatic people. Look along the fringes. Once you find one of them, they will lead you to another one. Because although they're not a group, they are connected. Because they all are working towards the same thing. And am I in that group? Absolutely. I have nothing to gain from doing this. Nothing. Except truth and sharing. That's the biggest goal, is to find the truth and then to share it with anybody who's willing to listen. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but there's ducks all over the place back here. So yeah. And one last thing. If you do have your own experiences, if you have something that you want to share, for heaven's sake, email it to me. I'll share it. There's some other sites out there on YouTube that's doing the same thing right now. In fact, if you look around and you find a guy named Steve, he's one of those fringe people I was talking about. Yeah, you can hang with him. He's going to tell you no bullshit, the truth. And he's an inspiration, actually. I've been pursuing this stuff all my life. And actually, Steve is the reason why I decided to start putting it out there where the rest of the world could see it, rather than just doing it for my own satisfaction. So yeah, if you have an experience you want to share, send it to me. If you want me to share it with others, let me know. I'll read it and post it. So, I'm running late. I got one more gifting site to visit. I've been out here puttering around in the woods way too long, having a ball. Lots of interesting stuff going on, but I got to get my ass in gear and get up out of here, go back to the gifting site, and get home. I got stuff I got to do. Have to be responsible. So, happy equinox. Got a story? Email it to me. See you next time.